Hello and welcome to the Queber channel. I'm Jason, your host. Let's talk about the new powers that the DWP are getting. For those that don't know, being in receipt of benefits is like you're under a microscope all the time. It is very stressful. Most claimants of disability in that, having done nothing wrong, fear every time a brown envelope comes through the door. They fear that their benefits can be stopped at any point in time with no reason given. They fear the power that these people who provide them. Now, it's understandable to stop fraud, but you've got to remember, it's been proved that the fraud is less than 0.4%. So this bill that's coming in, and it's actually a real bill. They already had powers to do things like, for example, when me and Paola was on disability due to her cancer, and I was on an incapacity benefit because they said I was not functional for work. I mean, my doctor was like, you can't do anything. There's nothing. I'm not letting you go to work, basically, was it? And I didn't focus on getting myself on better disability because I was too focused on Paola. And this was like 2006, 2007. Now, not only did they gatekeep the benefits behind this very strict, and it's still, and people think it's easier to get on this. You should try it fucking one day. It is not easy. All the bullshit that you hear about it being easy, this is not. When they come to your house and they test you, they say it in a way like they're supposed to come to your house and say, okay, I want you to walk upstairs for me and walk back down. What they're supposed to say, I want you to walk upstairs for me and back down unless you're in pain. They didn't tell my wife that, so because Paola was so fucking struggle, even though her bone marrow was dying, even though the cancer was coming into full swing, she made it up those stairs and she made it back down. And she was on her back for 3 days afterwards. But they cancelled her benefit. They said, hey, that's what you're going against. You're going against the DWP is leveraged to they get bonuses and they get motivation if they get you off benefits. Now, some of them do it the right way. There is fraud. There is such a small amount of fraud out there. For example, when I first applied for PIP, while Paola was still alive, actually, my doctor said you should try to get on thingy because of the ADHD and everything. They denied it, and the person on the phone I was talking to basically called me a liar. Now, anybody who knows me knows I don't lie. No, I don't lie. When people call me a liar, it triggers a very exacting, very angry response from me. It's not something that I got better, but back then I was not. I was dealing with the stress of Paola and everything. And so I went kind of nuclear on the phone and says, you're not disabled. You're just a rude and angry person. Called me. Put the phone down on me. Now, I tried to find the person who had done that and make him a complaint. There was no fucking record of it. Yeah, they watch themselves. They look up. So that was back then. And one time, there was a clerical error, nothing to do with us. Clerical error in their system. And that Friday morning, my benefits didn't go in. And I didn't know. You see, you've got to remember, I was looking after Paola at the time. I was busy from 6 in the morning till midnight. We had hospital appointments to go to, and I was trying to focus just her wheelchair, holding onto that wheelchair, was the only thing that anchored me outside the fucking house. So we went to these appointments and that day, got home, and then I checked, and a couple of the bills had bounced and email me that day from the bank, but it was already 8 p.m. at night. Nothing I could do about it. You couldn't ring anybody. So next morning, I get a brown envelope the day after they've done it saying your benefits, there's been some fraudulent activity on your account, and therefore we've cancelled your benefit. They cancelled the benefits. The letter came the day after. By the whole weekend was stress. My mum came over and she gave us some money to put in the bank because what was going on. And on Monday we rang them and found out it was a clerical error, but they had cancelled everything: housing benefit, council benefit, tax benefit. They'd cancelled all of our stuff. They had even notified we were living in a council assisted living bungalow that was dependent on Paola being on disability payments, and that was cancelled. We had to reapply for it all. They had shut it all down. They already had the power to do that. So this new bill that they've got is called, if you can go to the Commons site, Public Authorities Fraud, Error and Recovery Bill 2024 to 2025. And this is the one they're voting at on them at the moment. Their powers in this are, it's supposed to be to counter fraud and everything like that. But the powers that they're going to be given in this bill is so far, it's almost like a police state. Recovery of assets. The bill will also provide for new powers of recovery assets. This concerns debts and overpayment related to fraud against the public sector. The ministers would be able to act on behalf of another public authority. The recovery power could also be used to recover certain penalties and costs incurred during the process. The bill would provide for an oversight of these powers. These bills set out by the methods for recovery of blah 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 blah. Request a bank. This ministers could, for example, be able to request a bank to make lump sum or regular payments from an individual's account, so that they can tell the bank to do it. The bank will be not you. You won't have a choice to pay back. They will take the money automatically from your bank. They will have the powers to request your employer gives them power. Civil penalties. The bill would also allow the minister to impose a penalty for fraud, provided that on the balance of probability a person has carried out fraud or conspired to do so. The minister would be able to impose penalties on a person and bodies for failing to comply with requirements concerning fraud, investigations and recovery of money. The penalties would be subject to appropriate appeals. So, the bill would also extend the time limit for bringing action against fraud 12 years from the date of the fraud. So basically, let's say something goes wrong with your account. The fraud part, they're also putting into the fraud part if they make a mistake, if they pay you too much and all this kind of. So let's say 20 years ago, they were, 12 years ago, you did something and it wasn't your fault in that. 12 years later, they could come after you for it. And how are you going to get proof of what happened? How are you going to stop them? So let's go. So let's go down. I'm just going to. A lot of this is just stuff. Powers to verify eligibility with financial institutions. Basically, they can contact anything from PayPal to, if you've got a PayPal account, they can demand statements from you. If you've got any kind of bank account and so on, savings. This is understandable, but it's giving them a whole lot. Right. Entry, search, and seize. Remember, this isn't the police. This is the DWP, the Department of Work and Pension. Entry, search, and seize powers. This bill would give DWP investigators new powers to enter, search a promise with a warrant, and seize relevant materials. The bill would also make it a criminal offence to obstruct a DWP officer exercising these powers and provide a legal framework for the DWP to dispose of property it has seized. Basically, I'm fucking reading it straight off the fucking screen here. In fact, I'm going to show you because you're not going to fucking believe this. Let's just show you what I mean. And again, I can't with this. It doesn't do it properly. I'm not on my main screen, so but you can find this yourself. This means, let's just say, for example, that the world's not perfect and the DWP officer you're dealing with is a complete bastard or hates you or for some reason has a grudge against you. They will be able to enter your home, take your stuff, sell it. And if you obstruct them or try to stop them entering your home, will be a criminal offence. Overpayment, debt recovery and enforcement. New overpayment, debt recovery and enforcement powers would allow the DWP to recover overpayment debts from individuals no longer in benefits and not in pay as you earn. Basically, even if you've got a private accountant doing your stuff and that, if you're self-employed. But here's the sneaky thing. Here's the fucking. This is. And you're not going to believe this, so I'll put a link to this thing and please read it yourself. The DWP would also be able to apply to the court to disqualify a debtor from holding a driving license. What the fuck does the ability to drive, to have the freedom of driving, have to do whether or not you're a debtor? Do you see the DWP? I'm reading word for word. The DWP would also be able to apply to the court to disqualify a debtor from holding a driving license. Where all other attempts at recovery have failed. So, what they're trying to make it so that you can't leave your house, that you can't go and do anything that. I mean, one of the easiest jobs for people to get to try and make some money to pay back debts is stuff like Just Eat and stuff like Amazon Prime, the drivers or a taxi driver, and the basic things. If you've got a driving license, I don't drive, but if you've got a driving license, these are the abilities you have to thingy. What the fuck? To understand how police state this is getting, We're going to be giving the DW, it's on, got in its second reading and it's voted through. One more reading and it becomes law. And the government will be able to oversight this themselves, basically. Stop looking at that. That's fucking depressing. You understand how bad that is? Paired with the Online Safety Act, paired with other things, what will they? How? What will happen next? They'll decide that debtors don't deserve a smartphone or or an internet, and they'll strictly limit their internet because they were a bad person because they debt. You see the line we're going down. Do you see the slope we're going down here? They want to leverage the Online Safety Act to ban VPNs so that they can track up to fucking everything you do online, just like China, just like Russia. Fuck. Fuck pig. Fuck pig, fuck pig. It's what I say in these situations. Because this isn't the country I know. And the thing is, I I'm a completely fucking honest person. Do you know, a month ago, I contacted the DWP and let them know that at the end of this year, I will have some money coming in from what I'm going to do to the house that I'm going to have that lifetime mortgage. I already notified them to put on my form that in the 30-month thing, I'll be having some money coming in. That money will be going straight out to pay some debts. Because I'm absolutely fucking terrified that they'll take it the wrong way, that the bank will think, ooh, he's got money coming, he's on benefits. Therefore, we'd better let the things, and they'll freeze everything and do an investigation. I'm honest to the oath. I don't hide anything. I don't have anything to hide. Nothing I'm doing it's illegal. When that money comes in, it will be just for paying debts and buying disability stuff and that. And that's all okay. But I'm still scared shitless that something will go wrong and their AI system will say, what's he doing? Just like this last couple of months, I am scared. I've sold quite a few bits of technology in the house to be able to get other bits of technology and to pay for food and stuff like that because of the diabetes and everything. Which is also perfectly legal, perfectly normal, perfectly okay. But an AI system looks at my bank account and sees these lumps of money, some money going into my account. They could just go and freeze everything, and then I'd have to prove everything. And while I do that, I don't get my benefits. This is one of the stresses that disabled people are under. Once you're under the DWP, this is the part that hurts me so much about what Trevor did. When he pretty much damaged my mum's house, when he stole all my mum's money before dying and used it all up. The plan was always that when my mum passed away, I would have about £160,000 that she had squirreled away into ISAs and that while working in that. She didn't go on holiday. She saved all this money. She put it in the bank account. So she had 3 different bank accounts that she put money into. She worked hard. She put it all away so that when she passed away, it would be okay. That I wouldn't be under the thumb of the DWP. That I would have enough money to live my fucking life and be okay. That £160,000 would have been basically £100,000 of it would have gone into a slow release account that would give me like £1,500 per month to live on for as long as that lasted, and the other money would be used to put solar power on the roof, power a heat pump and everything in the back thingy, make the house as low powered as possible so that 1,500 would handle it. I would no longer have the stress of the DWP. No longer wonder whether or not a letter would come to my front door saying, oh, by the way, we've noticed something, can we going to do this? I did, when the money was taken and that, it didn't bother me that much back then, because it was like the betrayal was more important. Loss of my mum's legacy, the loss of her, the pottery and everything that we destroyed in the house, that was more important. Just a thingy. My mum tried to put me in a position so that I would never have to worry about. Who knows how many years I've got? £160,000 would have covered everything for me because I don't go out. Or my biggest expenses is computers bits. And there's just glad that when she passed away, it was a dementia she never knew that what she had planned out come to pass. Yeah. If I was, they are slowly destroying this country, taking away all the good stuff. They're damaging the NHS to the point where it'll be unusable and privatized. They're destroying the social services stuff. They're defunding everything, even though they say they're not. It's been a year since the adult social services said, yep, we'll widen your front gate and that because you've got a mobility scooter and that, yeah, we can do that for you, no problem. And that, we've just got to wait till the money's available. They don't even have the money to redraw the disability lines for the actual. Used to be a couple that lives. There's a couple that used to live in the thingy, and they didn't even when the lines for their disability spot on the road faded, they didn't have the and someone, and it's just got worse since then. So yeah, the government, politicians, and that are ruining. Oh, we've always got money for a war. We've got money to help other countries. Sorry. This is Jason for the Quiver channel. I hope you're having a good day.